guys, we have a really fun, delicious muffin recipe for you that you can throw together in minutes. Susanna Austin is the American Honey Queen. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You betcha. So tell us a little bit about your job. I think it's a really cool, unique thing.
Well, I work with the American Beekeeping Federation, and I travel across the United States teaching people about honeybees and about, how important they are to us in our everyday lives.
Yeah, I think people think that bees are, kind of bothersome, and you're, get these bees away, but they do a ton for us. If we didn't have bees, it would not be a good thing.
Absolutely not. They pollinate about 80% of the foods we grow in the United States, and it makes up every third bite of food we eat, whether or not it has any honey in it at all. And then they pollinate other crops as well, like cotton. So, that's our clothes, and they help to pollinate the foods we feed to the animals so we can get, meat and milk and leather and things like that. So if we didn't have bees, our lives would change a lot. So, no matter where you are, honeybees are interwoven into many aspects of your life.
Very true. But very cool. I didn't know all that stuff. So Susanna brought along some of the different Wisconsin honeys that we have here, and you can just see it. There's a different range of colors, different textures. Tell us about this one. This is a neat one.
Well, this is our creamed honey. So it's amazing because this is still pure 100% honey, but you can turn it upside down and it's solid. It's about the consistency of peanut butter. It's really great for spreading on bread, on jam, something like that, so you don't have to worry about it dripping everywhere. But it's, just the crystallized honey. So a lot of people, at the bottom of the bottle, it gets a little crunchy and they're afraid it's spoiled. It isn't. It's just a crystallized honey. It's just another structure of it. So we do this very fine grain, so it's very smooth, and it's a great way to eat your honey, especially if you've got little kids and you don't want to bother with the
drippies. Yeah. Well, getting back to that, because I do have a container of that honey when it gets crystallized, is there anything you can do with that?
Absolutely. You can get a pan of warm water and you just put the whole jar in and set the pan off on the side once the water's heated, and then it'll slowly heat it up so you're not breaking down any of those good enzymes that you want in there. You're not damaging the honey at all, but it's just slowly warming it up and it goes back to a liquid state. Okay. Or you can just put it in the window on a warm day.
Good advice. So don't throw it out. A couple of the other honeys you brought along?
Yeah, it's amazing because honey comes in such a kaleidoscope of colors. It looks beautiful. And we have our basswood honey. It's very light, sweet flavor, so great for tea with fruit, something where you don't want an overpowering taste. We have an orange blossom honey that was produced when they brought their bees down to Florida to pollinate the orange groves in the beginning of the year when it's a little too cold in Wisconsin for them to be doing much.
Sure.
And then we've got the buckwheat honey, which is very amazing. It's got a dark color. It looks beautiful, but it's got a very robust, bold flavor. And so that's something great in sauces, anything where you want a really strong flavor to come through. And then we also have a piece of our comb honey, so that's kind of the jewel of a beehive, is comb honey, where it's completely in the wax, and you can eat all of that, and a lot of people enjoy eating it, just the way it is in a beehive.
So something like, if you get a sweet tooth, that would be like eating candy. Is that how you'd eat that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can also put it on toast if you want to do a bruschetta. Ooh. For a very nice appetizer, very easy to do, just with a little bit of cheese, maybe some sun-dried tomatoes.
Ooh, that sounds lovely. All right, tell us about the muffins that we're making today.
Well, this is very Wisconsin. So we've got our cranberries in here, and it's nice, if you're having a cool day. It's also not too sweet a recipe, so it's great in the morning if you want a healthier snack. But we've got our cranberries here that's going to add that color and the flavor, and then we've also got a cranberry honey to go with it that's got a very distinct flavor too.
Neat. So we're making cranberry honey muffins. So it starts out, we've got two different bowls. We're going to do the wet and the dry?
Yeah, well, what we're going to start off by doing is by taking our chopped cranberries. You want to make sure you cube them so it's not any too big pieces. We just put them in there.
Those are fresh cranberries that we've chopped, given a rough chop, okay?
And then we're going to go ahead and measure out 1/3 of a cup of honey, and we're going to mix this. This handy little measuring cup just lets us fill it right up. But if you are doing it just in a regular measuring cup, then what you can do is you can just put a little bit of cooking spray on and make sure that you don't lose any of that honey inside your measuring device. And so then what we're going to do, we're going to just mix that up, and that kind of lets the cranberries absorb some of that honey.
Okay. And
get that flavor. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mix up our butter.
Melted butter.
Yeah, so we got our melted butter here, and we're going to mix that up with 1/4 of a cup of honey.
Okay, so more honey. Yep.
So we got a 1/4 cup of honey. We're going to mix this in. Now, if you have room temperature butter, you can use a
A mixer to
You
kind of
can
mix
use
it
a
that
mixer,
way?
yeah, to fluff
Okay.
it up a little bit, but when we're using it with the melted butter,
Okay, makes it even easier.
Makes
so
it
either
even
way,
easier.
it's fine.
Yeah, and we can just do that with a whisk.
Okay, so
Yeah.
quarter
we're
of a
gonna
cup
add
of
a quarter
honey
of
in
a
there.
cup here.
I'm just kind of eyeball
Yeah,
it, I
we're
get it.
gonna eyeball this one. Okay, so that
Perfect.
one's a little easier.
Perfect.
And we're just gonna mix this in real quickly. And then we're gonna go ahead and add in our 1 egg. And what's nice about, this recipe is it's nice, it's got nice flavor to it, it's pretty easy to prepare, and it stores nicely as well. Because of the honey in it, these are gonna last longer than your regular muffins.
Oh, that's good to know.
Honey is what's called a humectant, so it attracts moisture towards itself. And so with that, they'll stay fresh longer.
Oh, I like that.
Okay,
a
so
little
now
bit
we're
of
gonna
milk.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and add in the rest of our wet ingredients. We
Okay.
got the milk there. We've also got a little bit of fresh ground orange peel
Ooh,
that
yum.
helps to make a nice citrus flavor, and that goes in nicely with the cranberries.
Flour.
Yeah, and we got our flour, and then we've got a little bit of salt and some baking powder.
Okay, so just a
And-
little bit of salt, and then all the baking powder goes
Yeah,
in? Okay.
and all the salt too.
All the salt too?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So we got about just a teaspoon of salt there.
Okay.
Now what's nice about this too is with the muffins, we want it to be kind of lumpy
Yes.
in the recipe, so we're just going to go ahead now and add in these cranberries and just
bet.
finish.
So the wet and
so
the
it's-
dry together. So it's not like a cake batter is what I tell people when you're doing muffins. It's supposed to be a little, just to mix it until it's just combined.
Yeah, and then it helps it and it rises so nicely and it has the texture to it. We want to make sure we really take advantage of these cranberries as well because they give really a nice texture to the muffins and it tastes beautiful and it's just such a lovely color. So if you wanted, for Valentine's Day as well, it's a nice pink muffin there.
Very true, very true.
So we're going to just mix this till it's just mixed.
And then oven temperature for these?
These are going to be cooked at 400 degrees, so they cook up pretty fast at that high temperature and only takes them about 15 to 20 minutes.
So we have our greased, and we want to make sure either if you're not using a liner, use grease your muffin tins there. I've got this little scoop, which I love to use. I'll help here. And pretty quick bake, Susanna?
Yeah, absolutely. Just about 15 minutes until they're just brown right there. And it cooks all the way through nicely. You can always, check with a toothpick that they're ready. But it's a nice recipe. The honey keeps it fresh long. It also helps to make sure that the cranberries aren't too tart. But we don't add in a lot of sweeteners, so it's not going to be, too sweet for early in the morning.
Yeah, and you know what? Nothing better than warm out of the oven. Some
Oh,
nice,
absolutely.
yummy muffins. Maybe a little butter on top, maybe a little extra honey. Susanna, always great to see you. I can
Well,
hardly
thank you
wait
so
to make
much.
these at home. My daughter and I love to make muffins in our kitchen, so this is a new recipe for us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You betcha. And by the way, you can get the recipe on our website, fox11online.com. Click on the Living tab and recipes, and they'll be right there. And we'll be right back. Stay with us.